independent, bring me happy. Ooh. Thank you, happy.
Welcome to A Captain's Log, your Star Trek insider source for news and cutting-edge interviews. I'm Lily Fox-Lim, host of A Captain's Log. He's Brian Kreutz, returning from his spacewalk from last episode.
Hey, what's a talk show without a co-host like Lily? We're both hosts together or both co-hosts like we talked about last week, right? Why not?
Never-ending conversation.
Absolutely, off camera, we love those. But last week, we talked about that, but this week we want to make it officially official that we are both aficionados as equal hosts on Star Trek's only broadcast TV talk show, A Captain's Log.
Oh, and just like our next guest, a man who needs no introduction in the Broadway or television world, but in the Trek world he's cherished even more by Trekkies, Trekkers, and binge-watcher wannabes who want to be Trektastic. We will welcome back Leonard Crofoot, three-time Star Trek guest actor, for part 2 of our interview in a moment. But wait! There's some significant Trek news, BK.
Oh, Lily, yes, absolutely. A story that hit home in our hearts for so many hilarious moments and scenes was sadly announced by Paramount as the final upcoming season of the animated comedy Star Trek Lower Decks. I'm not sad because, well, this now has a backing. The website SaveLowerDecks.com. By creating a compilation video of over 10 Star Trek actors saying lower decks, lower decks, lower decks, over and over again, right? 10 actors are rallying to save Star Trek Lower Decks, and it's only a small part of a larger fan-run campaign on the website SaveLowerDecks.com. Petitions. Many ways viewers like you can express their support for extending the run of Star Trek Lower Decks beyond 5 seasons. You can help. Now, fans plan to continue their efforts to save the show. The fan-run campaign also proposed that a different platform like Netflix host the series instead of Paramount Plus.
They already have Prodigy.
That's right, exactly. The crew behind the show also hopes for the show to find a new home. Of course, they want to keep their jobs. But more information about their campaign can be found once again at SaveLowerDecks.com.
Ooh, I love this news story, BK. It's great to see fans like us who love this series interact and go to the ends of the earth to save the Lower Decks series.
Yes.
Yeah, back in a moment with part 2 of our interview with Leonard Crofoot.
A Captain's Log returns in a moment.
Welcome back to A Captain's Log. Now, we've all had that coughing that was out of control. Maybe a cheerful, Starfleet.
You're an ambassador.
Now, perhaps we've all had that cough where it went down the wrong tube, quote unquote. One of those type of coughs where you feel there's no end in sight. Well, for some long, rough road that appears to be tearful and out of control, sometimes it's defined as roles that appeared in Star Wars or some other franchise where they're at the top of fame, but then unfortunately never to be heard again. Well, Star Trek actors, no matter how big or small the role or career, can be attributed to their single, double, or in Leonard Crofoot's case, triple threat, 3 times Star Trek appearances to help round out a successful career on television.
An enduring career of success and a lasting family legacy. Leonard Crofoot spent 3 of his formative years in a wheelchair, and when the doctors allowed him to walk again, they recommended ballet classes to strengthen his legs. Of course, he then became a star performer on Broadway and appearing in Star Trek and Hollywood, among many other roles, even acting and dancing today in Tinseltown.
Yes.
Well, welcoming you back to the show, Leonard. So Leonard, let's move ahead to 1990. Jonathan Frakes makes his directorial debut directing you as the character Lal in the episode The Offspring. You're in heavy makeup and a gold suit playing Mr. Data's new child android. We have some amazing pictures of you rehearsing a scene with Spiner and Marina Sirtis, and one where you're filmed on a blue screen stage during the production. Talk about how you landed this role and the audition process before we get into the character.
Well, I landed the role. They called me in, and I knew Jonathan Frakes back in New York days. You know, we ran across each other, and he remembered seeing me in some shows and Broadway stuff, and I'd worked with him. You know, he knew me as a dancer, and he was looking for someone that could move for this for Lal. So he said, "Get Crofoot in. Let's check it out." So I went in and moved around, and yeah, you know, so I had it, and he wanted to work with me on that. You know, he knew he could count on me to come up. We'd work together. So yeah, so that's how I got it. And then when we did the makeup, it turns out that the makeup was it was a metallic-eyed, neuter-gendered, latex buns android, and the latex buns were down into the groin. So when you moved, you couldn't. The makeup department didn't want me to move too much because it would break it would stretch the material, the latex. So I had to move in a very more stiff way. And it was almost like I had to do kind of a geisha walk, you know. But so the movement that maybe Jonathan wanted in the beginning had to go out the window for any kind of movement like that. I don't know what he had in mind. I think he had a little more movement in mind, but I was restricted. But I could work with what I had, and it was just fine. It actually worked better, I think, because the geisha kind of movement, it went along with the head, the movement, and then the shoulders you'd have to move the whole body, kind of, you know, you see. So when you walk, and if you walk kind of passively, you know, it's neuter gendered, so it's undecided and meek and whatever, you know, kind of gives that character a certain feel.
Star Trek was gaining momentum, and I'm sure you saw that, you know, back a few seasons earlier. But let's talk a little bit later about this role as Lal, the gold genderless mannequin that you played. What were some of your memories about playing this iconic character's offspring, and how did you prepare for the long day in this makeup and bodysuit?
Brent was he gave me this head thing. He says, I don't know whether you can use it or not, but I do that. You know.
Yeah.
And so I said, yeah, I can use that. I already have this movement like that, you know, and so I used, you know, I could intersperse, and that's team effort, you know. He shared with me his data movements, and I was able to work with him and become his child. I did an exhibit of Star Trek in 2021 over at the Skirball Center. And there was a kid there. They put word out that there was going to be some dialogue. And he came up to me afterwards and he said, you know, he said that role changed my life. He says, I was not happy with my skin, you know, what I am. And he says, that made me think about changing my gender. I said, thank you for sharing that with me, you know. It affected this kid so much. And I thought, my God, I didn't know that it would, you know, I've always been comfortable with my body. Mm-hmm. I never thought about, you know, wanting to be a different gender or that sort of thing. But here Lal chooses to become a woman, a girl. and chooses its gender. And here's this lad, you know, that's going through something that's deeply touching to him or her. And I was really proud to be a part of that. I tried to give him, held his hand, give some comfort. You know, it was nice. It was really nice. When you play a role like that and it's meaningful to somebody, it's a big deal.
The Offspring still resonates very strongly with fans today. So thank you so much for sharing your story on this, Leonard.
Yeah.
This story certainly adds to Trek legacy. So, Leonard, let's talk about your role on Star Trek Voyager in the year 2000, the episode Virtuoso. This is many years later for your return to the Paramount lot. Can you please talk about the Qomor dignitary who are present for the first concert of the holographic doctor played by Robert Picardo in the mess hall aboard the USS Voyager? And also please speak to the different directorial styles and the differences between Voyager as an actor and Next Generation.
The role just came through my agent. It just said they would like you to do a day's work, you know, or you know, go in. Yeah, I'm there. So I went in, and the director, he was just he was really on the ball. Really knew what he was doing. It was crackerjack. You know, television is that way. You have to hit your mark. You have to know your lines. You have to, it's in and out. There's not a lot of time to play around, right? And so it was bam, bam, you know, and it was, we were done in hours. It wasn't a long day at all, but it was so much fun because he knew what he wanted. He said, we've got, you're from a different planet. You're going to see this concert. It's the first time you're seeing this concert. So I want you to react accordingly. You know, he left it to anybody who come up with things. So the camera's panning, you know, or whatever, you know, and then the different angles, and that's how it all happened very quickly. And so it's just a matter. He says, so I'm looking for your reactions. So I gave my reactions, you know, the surprised look of, you know, and you know, what's that? Is that what, that's what you call a concert? What are they doing? You know, and then the laugh, you know, and this, no, you know, there was a lot of different things that, you know, who knows, you know, all the editing, whatever took place, you know, so, but it was very quick. It was very quick. I was really happy to be back on the set. And directors are different. But in one sense, they're the same. They have a job to do. They need to set the lights. They need to set the cameras. They need to get the actors. They have to trust the actor. They have to get the job done. It's television, right? And but on the other side of it is their personalities. Every director has a personality. So his was, he knew his stuff, you know, he was right on, he was on a dime.
In February 1994, you were interviewed by Ian McLean in Star Trek The Next Generation official magazine, issue number 26. This magazine, published by Starlog, was a very big deal. Yeah. It was always available and located in every major store that sold magazines. It was a staple for news and interviews to us Trekkies before the internet days. I mean, tell us what you remember about the interview and share with us your early memories on what stuck out in your fondness for being a part of the Star Trek franchise, only being a few years after playing your 2 Next Generation roles.
Well, the interview, I was honored that they wanted me to do an interview. He contacted me through email, perhaps a phone call, but I think it was email. And he sent me, we communicated through email. He sent me questions, and I agreed to do the interview, and I was honored. He sent me a lot of questions. Oh gosh, there was a lot. And he said, can you give me as much information as you can? I'll pare it down, you know, if you give me as much as you can. So I typed it all in and, you know, answered his questions and elaborated wherever I needed to give something interesting that I thought would be interesting. And then he edited it down, and he was very proud of it, and so was I. He showed it to me, and sent it to me, and I got a copy of it through the mail. And he was just a nice guy, really nice, and just ever so cordial. With mostly with email. We might have spoke once on the phone, I think, maybe, but don't remember his voice. But I do remember the questions. There was a lot, and I just answered them. It was great. The whole franchise of Star Trek is absolutely amazing. I still get people sending. I got 3 weeks ago. I got a request through the mail from Germany for the trading cards that you pass out. It's absolutely amazing. The whole when I was at the Skirball and at that place, they had a whole exhibit there. It was just wow! Look at the stuff, the whole setup, everything. There's conventions. I received wonderful letters.
Mistress Beata invites you to witness this morning's reaffirmation of Angel One's moral imperative.
Is that the civilized word for murder on this world?
On second thought, Trent, we would be honored to witness your moral imperative in action.
We have determined that the heretical teachings of Ramsay and his followers are inconsistent with harmonious life on Angel One. Our patient efforts to silence revolutionary voices have failed. Therefore, we are left with none but the most final alternative.
Leonard, talk about your favorite acting role for your work on Broadway. Maybe if it's in TV or film or even dance. Also, what projects are you up to today, and is there perhaps an Instagram or website that our viewers can enjoy your career highlights and future projects?
This project that I'm working on, I have a fitting tomorrow. It's a movie, and I don't know too much about it exactly, but I think I'll be doing square dancing or line dancing. I'm not quite sure. But it'd be dancing. My favorite role would be the role that I wrote for myself for Vaslav Nijinsky. I played that role. I didn't expect when I wrote it that I would last 9 years of performing, but it did. It started out just as a way to get casting people to come and see me act and dance. The idea came from Robin Palanker, who was my partner. She saw me doing a presentation of Vaslav Nijinsky at the Severin Wonderman Museum, and she said, "That's your project. That's what you should do. You should do a show about Vaslav." So I wrote it, and I put it on, and it blossomed, and it became all over East Coast, West Coast. There's if you go to my website, leonardcrofoot.com, there's a link on there for Nijinsky You can find it. And there's reviews and all sorts of things. They're very proud of that. But I also am proud of, on Broadway, I originated the role of General Tom Thumb. And I sing Bigger Isn't Better. That's also on iTunes. And that is a role that I was very proud of. I got a Circle Award for that, and I'm proud of that. But there have been many roles. I played Cabaret, Joel Grey role. I loved that role. I wanted to play it so sinister, but yet a charmer, and I like that, Welcome, bienvenue, welcome. It's nice stuff, and so I got to play it at regional theater. I played many roles that I'm proud of. I played Frantisek in an American rock festival. I played a spaced out hippie on LSD. That's just like so much fun. I've played really neat roles. Here's a role, a magic marker commercial with prosthetics.
Oh, that's awesome.
That's me.
Oh my gosh.
And it was a commercial. So I play these weird roles. You think that neuter gendered android is, you have no idea, you know. So that's from Magic Mark, and it's a space alien girl.
That's super
Had a
cool,
dress
Leonard.
on.
Oh my gosh.
You know.
Yeah.
So I've played a lot of roles.
Mhm.
Sometimes very small tidbit things, and all the Broadway shows. I've been in 6 original musicals. All played a stooge with Stubby K, and I worked with Ray Bolger. That's one of the stories that I tell about Ray Bolger in one of my albums is called Showbiz Stories, and it's about Ray Bolger. There's another one about Ethel Waters, and another one about Gene Kelly, and how Joe Layton got Cy Coleman to write dance music for Barnum. He didn't want to write it, but all these are stories. Those are written in the third person, but they're real theater pieces. I'm having a time of my life. I'm still viable. I'm still working, and I feel good. I'm happy. I'm 75 now. Hot dog.
A captain's log returns in a moment.
All right, kids, hand over the dough.
All right. Here you go, see ya.
You're not going anywhere. We've got a surprise for you.
We're dead!
No, kids, you're on candid video. Wave to everyone at home.
The television show?
You mean you've been videotaping this whole thing?
Oh, that's right. The ticket line, the movies, the boutique, everything.
Well, this is terrible. I was wearing the same outfit for 2 days.
And for being guests on our show, Candid Video is going to give you 5 front row tickets to the U2 concert.
5 front row tickets? Hey, do you know how much money we could get for these?
No!
School Day is an autobiography, but it's written in the third person to give me distance on my own life. But School Day is me going to school for the very first time, straight into 2nd grade. They didn't allow wheelchair accessibility in those days. It was when 4 to 7 or those years, and I was crippled. I was in a wheelchair. Then I was on a leg brace, but I couldn't go to school because they didn't allow wheelchair accessibilities. They didn't allow crutches to take you to school. So I missed out on kindergarten and 1st grade. I went straight into 2nd grade.
Having a feature story in one of the United States' most popular newspapers, that being the New York Times, is just one of the many telling stories of Leonard Crofoot, our guest today.
That's right, and the story centers around the performance of Leonard Crofoot, a very veteran Broadway actor and dancer who in 1998 put together a remarkably thorough 90-minute account of the career of Václav Nijinsky's one-man show. Now, Lily, let's get back to our interview with Leonard. I believe you have the next question.
Oh, I believe I do. Leonard, please talk about the most recent TV project that you're involved with the Apple TV series titled Palm Royale. You're dancing, I believe, as Maxine Rolls the Dice.
I'm on Palm Royale. You can see me in Maxine Rolls the Dice, episode 4, and dancing with Kaya and doing the salsa.
Leonard, share a little bit about life today, and I understand you support the artwork of your partner, Robin Palanker. Talk about this and maybe a bit about your website where viewers can follow you and your amazing career, leonardcrofoot.com.
All the singles, I have 3 songs. One's about Statue of Liberty, another's about wanting to be with somebody that you can't be with. The Stars Are Out Tonight. And then Only the Truth Matters. That's really about fake and false data. And so they're all different songs. And then I've got the other single, which is about a seeker wanting to be friendly with a devil man, but unsure. So there's all kinds, and all those I recorded them, I mixed it, I mastered it, I did the artwork, I did everything, and went into TuneCore, and they distributed, and so I'm out there now. I'm proud of it, and I did a lot of videos. I was on Vimeo and YouTube as well. If you want to buy it, it's on iTunes. If you want to stream it, you go to any streaming site that you have. There's going to be Pandora or Deezer or iHeart or Tidal or Spotify has the songs. You can go to Apple Music, Amazon UK, Bomb something, I forget, Bombay, but no, something, I forget the time.
Bombay sounds right.
Streaming, it's streaming all around. So if you put in the title and my name in the search engine, you'll come up with it.
Leonard, it's been such a fun half hour spending our time with you, trekking down memory lane. Thank you for being with Bryan and I aboard this fictional starship, talking Trek. There's nowhere we'd rather be.
That's right, absolutely, right here. This has been a very enjoyable time.
Pure pleasure, really. You guys, love to you. Yeah, love to everybody out there.
We'll talk to you Trekkies on the other side of the galaxy next week, so bye for now. Bye.
Hello, happy, my old friend. I'm glad you've manifested yourself into a human I can depend on to bring me happy. My old friend, I'm glad you've manifested yourself into a human I can depend on to bring me happy. My old friend, I'm glad you've manifested yourself into a human I can depend on to bring me happy. Ooh.